Now let's spend some time in texture environment and go over the basics of going over the basics of texturing. So let's you click on this little icon and face edit sheet comes up. You can replace any of the textures you want that you already have, or you can browse for new textures to apply to each face. So let's click on browse, and here you have a few options. The size option gives you different size textures that you just can take a closer look at what they look like, or if you just want to cycle through everything. I usually use 256 by 256. You can also check this on, and it'll give you all the textures that you have used and you've seen, so you can cycle this on and off. Also, you can filter your. So let's begin texturing our wall. So I'm going to type in wall, and all the wall textures show up. Now you can just kind of go through them and see which ones will work, which ones don't. So it all depends on what kind of environment you want to build. So I am going to use this plaster wall, and I'm going to select it. So once I have it selected, I press Shift and right mouse button, click on the surface that I'm looking at, and the Shift, what it does, it applies to all the faces on that brush, which if I'm applying it to that brush, I don't want other textures being on the same brush. So now let's just apply it to every single wall that we there's an also you can also replace really quick, and the way that works is you click on the texture that you want to replace, hit replace, and it gives you a previous texture and the one you wanted to replace with. I can browse to the texture that I have on, and it's this one. And here you have everything, replace exact matches, okay, and it tells you that you have applied to all. And now all my walls that had the developer texture, now I have the texture that I want. Now you want to make sure that you are this texture is scaled properly and it's in its proper place on the wall. So the way you do that is you select it, and texture shift allows you to shift left, to shift right, and up and down. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to have to do this for all of my walls, and shift it down. And this is, you have more precise control over each texture. Now you can also do this justify, which is justifies the left, right, fit, and you can also fit the texture. But what that does often is it stretches your texture out. So you want to be careful by using this only on brushes that are built exactly to the dimension of that texture. So this often doesn't work the way you want it to. So I'm gonna do this by hand. It's more precise and it's better. It takes a little bit of time, but in the end you get much better results. So now that I've selected the texture, I'm just gonna go to each and every single brush, shift click, and making sure that it's applied to all the brushes that I have in my scene. Now let's select our floor and our ceiling. So let's do the same thing, hit browse, and let's type in floor. And I'm not seeing anything that I like here, so I can always refine my search. I like some of this tile. Let's do tile. And now it's a little bit better, more towards what I'm kind of going for. So let's select this tile texture, shift, right click, just apply it to our floor, and let's do our ceiling. See what we can come up with. Ceiling. Let's use this concrete on top. And we have our environment texture. It's very basic, it's very simple, and it looks like I need to redo this. But when you are blocking a new environment, you want to keep your textures simple. You want to do what they need to do for that moment, for that pass of, you know, you don't want to start detailing your environment at this stage. You just want to like bring everything up together all at the same time. So that is how you apply quick textures. And next, let's insert some lights, and also we're gonna put some props into our scene just to make the environment come to life a little bit more.